Recording. Okay. Yep. So before we start with any topics today, uh, I think I need to discuss about documentation. Okay. I just want to know, like, when there were no computers and when there were no calculators, and so how we used to do any calculation.
We use like some manual activities and by using Vedic math.
Sorry, Gautam, I think I can't hear you clearly.
Hello, am I
Yeah.
audible now?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Yes, please.
uh,
Huh.
in the ancient days, like they are doing the manual things, like
Hmm.
some physical activities, and by the use of Vedic math.
Yeah, Vedic is fine. Yeah,
And
Vedic.
abacus also.
Yeah, I mean, we also
Manually, I
use,
mean.
yes, the this yeah, this was the first method. I mean, very old method. I mean, when there were no calculators and when there were no computers, we used to have pen and paper or pencil and paper. We used to make calculations on that, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Huh.
The pen
Okay.
and paper or
Yeah.
pencil. Yes.
Huh. So in the same way, documentation can be provided to you in any form. There is no standard. There is no standard that a company follows only one particular documentation. Like some said, Swagger is a documentation, we follow Swagger documentation. No, nothing like that. They might provide you in a Word format, or they might provide you the documentation in a notepad as well. They might provide you in any, I mean, it all depends upon how how business analyst provides you the documentation. And there is no standard, to be honest. There is no standard that the documentation should be provided in this way. But yes, documentation should have all the necessities which we have discussed. Those should be present in the documentation. But documentation can be provided in any format. In any format. Our testing job is to read the documentation, understand the documentation, follow the documentation, check out for the loopholes in the documentation, do the testing according to the documentation, and do the negative testing. I mean, not related to the documentation. And if we find any changes, we need to go back to the BA and ask him to make those changes. So as I said, it's not only the Swagger which is documentation that will be provided. It can be provided in Word format as well. Many companies might provide this documentation in the Word format. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So this is clear with everyone, right? Documentation, Swagger is not only the documentation. There can be n number of ways the documentation can be provided. And in some companies, they uh, make I mean, they chunk it out. I mean, they make a small parts in small chunks, and they provide it in a form of user stories, which you will be coming across when you use Jira or Azure DevOps or any other tool in when you're working with a company. BA might provide you, business analyst might provide you, you know, what they say, user story format. Yes, yes, Gautam. Yeah.
Your screen is not visible. I think
No,
not
no, I'm
set.
not sharing any screen.
Okay. Okay. Just.
I haven't. Yeah, I
Okay.
haven't.
Okay.
Okay, I was just discussing about documentation. So now everyone are clear with how a documentation is provided, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Great. Okay. Now I'll share my screen. Please let me know if my screen is visible. We'll come to the sixth documentation.
Your screen is visible now.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. In the sixth documentation, what is protocol? I have added some more points in the revision part, in the revision part one documentation, which I will be providing on 27, yeah, 27th or 28th before I leave. So I'll be providing that. So you all can revise that documentation and discover refinement. It's just adding new features, client server architecture. Postman tool, we will, export, import, and share collection. We will be discussing on that. And then, yeah, API testing without the documentation. Here, Nadia did ask about the Postman Interceptor. Now, I found a couple more interesting points in this. Let me open this in here. And I have already activated this, what they say, Postman Interceptor by opening the Postman tool. So what I'm going to do here is, I think I have already added here. Yeah, I've added the website name only till .com, only till like google.com, facebook.com, flipkart.com. In the same way, I've added it only till .com, the domain. And then I have selected 5 methods: get, post, put, patch, and delete. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy this link, and then I'm going to start capturing all my actions. Okay, I'll be capturing all my actions here. So you can see, start capture, enter, sign in, J2EE, and the password will also be the same, J2EE, login, okay, fish, angel fish, add to cart, make it true, update cart, proceed to checkout, continue, confirm, return to main menu, sign out. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop the capture, and I'm going to click on open Postman. Now all my actions have been recorded over here. If you see, it's only the petstore.com, only that domain actions have been added over here. There's no other actions which we saw last time, where Google and all other domain names were added. So we don't see those domains. We only see pet store domain over here. Now, once you have all these under, what they say, under Postman, you can go to save requests and select any of the collection which you want. I'll say rest countries, and then select both the check boxes here. Okay, domain name and endpoints. We need endpoints as well, and click on save. Once you have done that, it's all done. Now, once you go to rest countries, you can see Postman has created a folder for us and also added all the requests for us. Every request have been added over here. Now, when you come in here, if you see, it also added a body for us, which is in a complete different format. I mean, okay, I think it is missing something over here. Well, let me see the other post one. Oh, okay, I did miss something here. Okay, will not do. But this is how you can do. I mean, I'm not sure why exactly it is not working. It was working in the morning, where you can see the body over here, and you can see the request, every request over here, and you can run the request. You can run the folder completely, or you can run the collection to see if everything is working as expected or not. So in this way, you can go ahead and use this, what they say, Postman Interceptor extension. Postman Interceptor extension. Okay, it is it is it is required only when there is no documentation provided to you. Only when there is no documentation provided to you, then use it, or else it's not required. You need not to go to this Postman Interceptor. Try it yourself. See if you can get this body thing, in post request. If you see if you can get the body thing under this XWWW form URL encoded. See if you just give it a try. Okay, so this is this is without the documentation. And uh okay, coming to curl, and we did discuss about this. Okay, now I want to ask one question here, as we are good with documentation 6. Okay. Hmm. No, not this one. Okay, what is the endpoint here? Which is the endpoint here?
One.
Amazing.
Products.
And no, one. It's one. We are hitting in products. We are hitting one. The the product that is listed at the first place. That is what API endpoint is all about. See, if you see here, orders is the endpoint. But if you give a slash and then one, then it's the first order which you are hitting. That is the API endpoint. Okay, and now this is API endpoint. Now what is CRUD over here, which is CRUD over here? I mean, in this complete folder, which is a CRUD.
Yes. So, complete package is CRUD. It's like create, update,
Correct.
okay,
Amazing,
and
amazing.
reading and
Hmm,
delete. It's
hmm,
all one folder is calling CRUD. All operations in one.
amazing.
Mm.
Great, superb, superb. And curl, please do not worry about curl because we will be not working on it. It is all developers' job, so we can ignore it as of now. Okay. Now, after this, this is all theory. Monolithic and microservices we did discuss on in the last session, and we also discussed what comes under microservices testing, what all testing types, and what comes under microservices testing, and also the difference between microservices testing and API testing. Here, as Renu said, the CRUD operation, the complete CRUD operation, where where the requests are dependent on another request, then that is called microservices testing. But here Google is an independent request, so that is called as API testing. We are just checking if this API endpoint can we hit this API endpoint and can we get the successful response or not. And this google.com is not dependent on anything, so that is the reason it's just API testing. We are just testing one of the API. But when it comes to the whole, then it is called where the one request is dependent on another request, then that is called microservices testing. Okay, great. So let me close this 6. And in this revision part 1, I have given detail about contract testing and uh, uh, REST architecture, more details on REST architecture and stateful and stateless APIs, and also cache in Postman. So it's all theory and also I think protocol. Yeah. So it's all theory, and I'll be sharing this document on 27th or 28th. Please refer it whenever you have time. Okay, so it's all theory. Okay, it's and we have real good examples. I hope we do have real good examples in here. So we can close this. Now coming to 7th documentation, and it's all curl, just more information about curl. And Hitasvi, she said in her company it was not monolithic nor microservices architecture was used. So she asked what was the other architecture that was being used in the company. So I did research on that, and we found out that there is one more architecture which is known as service oriented architecture, which is um, newer than monolithic architecture, but older than microservices architecture. So to make more better than monolithic, they invented service oriented architecture, and to make more better of service oriented architecture, they made microservices architecture. So as of now, it is only microservices architecture which is running. And as one of the maybe some of the companies do use service oriented architecture, but it doesn't make any difference to us when it comes to API testing. It is all one and the same. We create a workspace, we create a collection, we create a folder if needed, and we add all our requests in one folder or in different folders. Then we do the testing as per the documentation. So it's all one and the same. Any architecture, it is completely it doesn't affect any of the API testing. Okay, so and what do you test in standalone and third party APIs, which I discussed in document 6, like what are standalone and third party APIs. Here, what do you test in standalone and third party APIs? So that is detailed over here. And after that, yeah, in here, it's we had Postman tool overview where we saw like what all options we have in Postman tool, and also requested you to download this Node, npm, Git, GitHub, and VS Code. All these softwares are not required for any manual testing. I mean, API manual testing, we do not need this software. But when it comes to automation testing, we really need these things. We really do need this VS Code. I'll let you know why exactly we need it. But these four are really needed. I mean, Git and GitHub is like where you save your code, you retrieve your code. Um, yeah, I mean, it's all about going fast and getting your code, and all those things we can do in Git and GitHub. I mean, Git is local repository and GitHub is online repository where you store your information, complete information. It can be any information, any data, your notepad files, your Word documents, your code, your automation code, your if you're writing a story, you can save that as well. And if you make any mistakes, you can go back where it was all good and you can retrieve that particular information. So it is all about Git and GitHub. Node and npm, it all comes in when we work on this Newman tool, where we will be testing API collections using command line tool, like in this way. So here is where this is a command line tool where we will be using this software, Newman software, where for this Newman to be installed, on your system, we need Node and npm. So without Node and npm, we will be not able to install Newman. So that is the reason I was asking for you all to install Node and npm on your system. Okay. And then setting up environments. Okay. Now, why exactly do we need environments? Like, uh, what can I say? Okay, you're working in a project. Okay, and the developer has developed an API, and he has tested on his local environment. That environment will not be shared to you. That particular environment will not be shared to you. Now, then he once he confirms that everything is working good, then he puts that particular code into testing environment, which is called as deployment and all those jargons. We need not to worry about that. Then that particular code is placed into testing environment. This is where we come into picture. Okay, we come into picture. Now, testing environment, like I can say, um, huh, testing environment might have this URL. Okay, so we will be testing all our APIs on this URL, or we can also say, no, not put it as endpoint. I put it as, yeah, Google testing.com. Okay, so I'll put something like this so that okay, testing environment. Okay, so here is where we will be testing our all our, I mean, add, get, put any APIs. Now, if once we confirm, okay, everything is up and running, then we say that the APIs are good to go and they can be deployed to the staging environment. Staging environment is nothing but okay. The staging environment is nothing but before let's say WhatsApp. Okay, before WhatsApp is released to us, WhatsApp new feature is released to us, or WhatsApp complete application is released to us, it is tested by the testers that we know. Okay, WhatsApp before releasing any new feature, WhatsApp is tested by the WhatsApp company's testers. Okay, so testing environment, they have tested it. Then in between that come to us, okay, there is another team which tests again, which tests again, but they will be using a different URL. Okay, they'll be not using this testing URL anymore. They'll be using some other URL. I'm just giving an example of staging here, but it might be a complete different URL which they will be using in order to test that particular application or website or any APIs. Okay, once they confirm everything is going good, then it will be released to the production environment, which is nothing but like go live and all those things comes into picture. Okay, so production environment, anyone heard about like before someone releases any software, they will be releasing a beta version to give to some of the people to test it, some of the customers to test.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
so that is
alpha
where,
and beta
yes, so that is where this
testing.
production thing comes into picture. Thank you, Nadia. So once
Welcome.
they think everything is good, once everything is good, then it will be released to everyone. It will be released to everyone. Now, okay, now we have so many, I mean, so many things. We have manual testing, we have API testing, we have performance testing, we have security testing, we have whatnot testing, functional, non-functional, smoke, regression, retest. Oh my God, so many testings. What is the primary goal of a test, of any testing?
Ensure the quality of the software.
Hmm.
To ensure the product is bug free.
It cannot be
For
bug
for
free.
user, like
Mm,
user can easily use the software.
hmm. User
To
can
make
easily
more stable.
Usability more.
no, usability is all about UI and UX.
Hmm.
Usability, I mean, see, login page and all this comes under UI and UX. Okay, how exactly you frame your website, how exactly it can be accessible. That testing part, I'd say testing part is, I mean, less involved in that UI and UX part. The reason being, it is all about how the BA provides the documentation, like I mean, the website should be in this way. The login page should be sorry, the login and the password should be displayed over here. We can give our inputs. We can give our inputs, but when it comes to UI and UX partner, mostly it will be from BA, not developers. Also, developers will not have much to say on this. But yes, uh, as Nadia said, quality and Mahesh, sorry, what did you say?
And
To
meets
ensure the product is bug free and meeting the customer
requirements.
requirements.
Yes,
Yes,
meeting the
customer
requirements.
requirements, but bug
It
free is not possible.
yeah, not possible.
Yeah, 99% yes, but 1% no. And Gautam, what did you say, please? No? Okay. So yeah,
To
so the fine. Sorry, go ahead.
to make the application more stable, like
Yeah,
Papa
Uh,
mentioned.
yes,
to,
true. So sorry, Shubhangi, you were saying something?
uh, to ensure a quality product, which
Yes,
exactly
correct,
client requires.
correct. Yeah, correct,
Thank you.
correct.
Thank you.
Welcome. So yeah, so all these testings, okay, the final destination is to make the quality of the product. Okay, do have the sorry, so have the product which is having a good quality. Okay, so and all these such things come into picture to make sure that it these things fall into place. And I will be teaching bug life cycle because I think, and okay, who all know about SDLC or STLC process?
Yes, I
Yeah,
know.
Okay,
yeah, me too.
let me
Yeah,
type it
yeah.
here. Let me type it here. Okay,
Mm.
SDLC and STLC. Uh,
I am
if
aware of it.
okay, great. If not, then
I
Me
know.
I'll,
too.
yeah, then I'll cover that part too. I think, yeah, I'll cover that part
Ashish,
too.
please, if you can cover, please cover it because everything is not clear in that
Which one? Sorry,
basic. If
which
if
one?
you are
Sorry.
going to SDLC and STLC.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that mostly SDLC and STLC. I mean STLC. We have no. Yeah, STLC doesn't only cover the manual testing part. It also covers API testing too. And
Yes, yes,
the most
that's
important,
fine.
yeah, you're welcome. The most important thing which will be mostly asked in the interview questions is, okay, this one, okay, you need to be very sure about this and these things. Okay, I'm typing in the chat. Please look into it. Bug
Yeah,
life
sure.
cycle and priority and severity. Okay, these things
Mm.
make sure. I mean, this is common in any testing. You take security, you take
Mm.
performance, you take accessibility, you take compatibility, you take API, you take database. Database testing. Any testing, bugs life cycle and priority and severity is very important. Why exactly priority and severity is very important? The reason being, it affects developers metrics. When you say when you say the priority is 1 and the severity is 1, developers work will be questioned. And if developer uh, uh, I mean, I can say hits back saying that this is not the right priority and severity. And if someone, looks at it and says, yeah, true, developer is right. This is not priority one and severity one. Then your what they say, your work will be questioned. So make sure priority and severity is uh, it should be, I mean, in any bug, whichever bug which you create, those priority and severity, you make sure, take your time. You will have all the time in the world. Take your time and then select the priority and severity. I'll be discussing on priority and severity as well. And
Yes, Ashish, I think
yeah,
it's based on the priority and the what's it called? The of
Severity.
and severity of the this bug. We build the bug life cycle. If we will close
bug
the
life
the bug or we
cycle,
will reopen it again. Yeah,
bug life cycle is
yeah, yeah.
different, Nadia. Bug life cycle is different, but selecting what is the priority and severity is different. Bug life
So
cycle
I
is
think so, Ashish. Priority is like when any tested work. So
hmm,
it decide the priority. Okay, but severity is depends on the like PO like product manager. So it's
mhm.
in his hand, I
Okay,
think.
okay. Let me ask one question. Okay. Um. Okay. uh, Actually, I wanted to create a chess website. Okay, where people can play chess. Okay, and I wanted to what they say. I wanted to name it as chess.com. And then whenever a player hits on, any player who logs in and hits on play now, then his name, if he hasn't given his name, then it just says player one. Here, okay, here R is missing. Okay, player R in chat, player one, R is missing. So let's say, okay, it's just a wording issue. So um what let's say we give it as severity 3 and priority 3. Okay, it's a quick change. Then we say it as severity and priority 3. But the same thing, if the customer raises it stating that, if you have found it at your end, okay, while testing you found it, then you might give a priority 3 and severity 3 because it's just a wording mistake. Or also you can talk to the developer, and developer might make the quick change and redeploy it once again. Okay, but when it comes from the customer, then the same bug priority and severity will be 1 or 2. It will be increased. The reason being that bug has come from the customer, and that is the reason. So it at times it changes. at times it changes. So, but when we are creating bug and we are giving priority and severity, there's certain small, very small rules, not and the product owners, those things, those also come into picture. Definitely, those also will be coming into picture. And bug life cycle is, you create a bug, you name it as new. Okay, I'll when I come to bug life cycle, I'll discuss on that. Okay, so this is done, and what you said is correct, Renu. What you said is correct. At times it's from our end, but in one bug you will be selecting priority and severity too. Both should be selected. And I think priority is not mandatory in some of the tools like Azure DevOps. I think its priority is not mandatory. Yes, Akash.
Actually, severity will be decided by tester and priority will be decided by product owner,
No,
ideally.
no, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Uh, Ideally,
I mean,
severity
Or
will.
by tester, I think.
nah, I mean, in my project or in my company, we
Because we
never.
know na, we know na impact of bug.
I mean,
That's why ideally.
priority was also derived from testers only in my company. It was
Yeah, it
never.
depends on the company to
Yeah,
Okay,
company.
it
depends.
depends
But
upon the
ideally, I
company.
can say
Support.
ideally, it
I
works like that.
think there is no standardized rule that product owners should do it. Okay, yeah, it's more or less work for you. If the product owner is deciding the priority, then more or less work for you. You're in a more safe hands, right? More safe hands. That is so cool. Good, right? If some company product owners does it, then it's so cool. Then you have more or less work or more or less thing to worry about. But in all companies which I worked, I never saw any product
No,
owner
you
do
can
it.
check. You can check on Google as well.
Yeah, Google does give a lot of different answers, Akash. I mean, yeah, we can't go with Google, right? Yeah. I mean, see, as far as I worked in companies, never a product owner never came into picture when we selected the priority or severity. So I'm not sure in which company that product owner comes and does it, because it's a tester's job who do it. Priority and severity is decided by the testers.
Okay.
Then product owner does come into picture. Okay, product owner does come into picture when let's say you're releasing the product. Okay, you're releasing the product, and we cannot release any product, we cannot release any application to the outside world if we have P1, S1, P2, priority 1, priority 2, severity 1 and severity 2 bugs related to that product. If there are any of these, then those products should not be released to the outside world. First, those should be fixed in. So this is where product owner comes into picture. He will be deciding, he will be talking to the customers, and then he will decide, should we reduce the priority and severity or should we fix the bug. So, I mean, there are n number of rules, n number of ways, n number of uh, I mean, decisions, n number of things which every company follows. So yeah, if so, that is what I mean. It's and it's not. I mean, we should, to be honest, testers should decide the priority and severity. It comes under our task. Okay, so and okay, now so here, and how do you create an environment in Postman? Um, how do you create an environment in Postman, please? I think we did discuss about this.
Environment you need to click.
Yes, correct. And here you can click on create environment and you can name environment as testing and then create another environment, name it as staging, and then the other environment, name it as production. And how do you see them? If you come to collections, you can see all three environments. So you can test on all these environments with a different URLs. Okay, so this is how environments is created. And so it's all about, I mean, if they have provided the URLs of different environments, and if they have asked you to test on all three environments, then do it. If they have provided you only the testing environment, then no need to create these environments. I mean, it is the people who work in that particular team, it's their worry, not our worry, to test this staging and production. But if they ask you to test at least staging thing, then create two environments, one being for testing and one being for staging. Okay. So, and okay, coming to the next part. Uh,
Assis,
yeah, yes, yes, please.
Assis, we can create that environment at the top of the option also, no?
Yeah,
There
yes,
also.
yes, yes, you can here, in here.
Ah,
I think, yeah,
yes.
yeah, I think here, or sorry, in here.
Ah,
No,
here.
here, this one, in here.
Hmm.
Yeah, we can create from here as well. Okay. Now, okay, so we are clear on how to create an environment, right? And yes, Akash, and we will be discussing about priority and severity, and Renu, yes, we will, and bug life cycle as well. Once we complete this manual part, we will come to that too. Uh, and so we are clear with environment part, right? How to create environments.
Yes, Ashish.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great, great. And only when you have been provided a different URLs, then only go for environment testing, or else it is really, really not required. It will just, you will be, you know, you will be using your efforts for nothing. So don't do that. Only go for testing. Testing and create one testing environment and test it. It's more than enough. And